Hi, Casanova College, your Vice President for Student Affairs, Carrie Pine. Yes, I am back again, and this time I'm going to talk to you about students from our restricted states and how the college is working with and supporting those students and supporting an overall plan for the campus health, well-being, and safety. Also, I want to talk about quarantine and isolation here on campus and how we're managing that as part of our comprehensive plan now and through the semester. So first, let's talk a little about restricted states. What I want you to know is I've included in the text of the email that accompanies this video the link to the New York State government site that outlines all of the states that are on the current restricted list. What I would encourage you to know is that that list changes regularly because it's calculated over a series of several days averages, and so some states come off the list and some states go on the list pretty rapidly. So I would encourage you, if you're interested or if you live out of state, to please monitor that list regularly. For students from restricted states, our main focus at this point has been helping them identify appropriate locations in New York State to start their quarantine in a fashion and in a time frame that allows them to start classes here on campus at the appropriate time. Every individual traveling from a restricted state to New York State and planning to stay here must complete a 14-day quarantine. That is New York State executive order at this current time. Some of our students are planning to utilize residences off campus, and that is fine. They will have to register where they're quarantining and then who they're quarantining with for us at the college to know so that we can monitor that and make sure that they complete their 14 days. Additionally, students who don't have a location in New York State, the college is offering an option to quarantine on campus. We have designated already quarantine and isolation housing on campus for the school year, and that again is a requirement of New York State for us to be able to reopen. So we've identified housing that is separate from the main residential communities on campus and can be sectioned off and isolated off from the rest of our housing. And that housing is available to our quarantine students from restricted states for the 2 weeks prior to the start of school. We'll talk with those students individually and independently regarding the specifics of that type of housing if they would wish to utilize it. During the school year, again, as I mentioned, we have identified both quarantine and isolation housing. Quarantine would be utilized if a student had a potential exposure and needed to monitor for symptoms and was identified and placed in quarantine. They would move to the quarantine floor. That floor would, a student is placed in a single. They monitor we monitor their health daily. We also monitor and check in with them socially and emotionally by remote platforms, all of that daily. And then there is a no contact plan for identifying what food they would like to have delivered, and then for pickup from our dining hall. And so that all will happen on a quarantine floor. There will be cleanings twice a day of restrooms on those floors, as well as, again, cleaning supplies provided for wipe downs in between the cleaning times for students that might be assigned to quarantine housing. Additionally, we have isolation housing, and that would be utilized if we have an individual who does test positive. At that point, the Madison County Health Department would be involved. They would be engaged with both the campus for making sure we're following appropriate protocols regarding an individual who is positive, meaning are they then isolated on campus? And we have the options to do that, which is good and appropriate. In addition, we also would be working with them for any contact tracing that needed to be occurring as a result of a positive case. The county health department has 48 individuals who have been specially trained as contact tracers, and they have indicated that they will be the contact tracing mechanism for us on campus. So Madison County Health Department will work with us at that point. So those are all of the strategies we have in place. There are potentially options for a student to go home for quarantine or for isolation, but it would depend, again, on the county health department, particularly regarding any student that would be placed in isolation. And it would largely depend on the manner in which they needed to travel to get home. So we would work again and have to follow the expectations of the health department should somebody test positive on campus. Again, remember, our goal is to isolate as quickly as possible, make sure that the person is safe and well, and then also make sure that we are doing all we can to make sure that the campus remains safe and well in that process. I thank you all very much. I wish you the best. I hope you are excited to be back, and I hope you have the rest of your summer very safe. I will be back to you to talk about our residence hall environment and our dining hall environment probably next week. So please be on the lookout. And again, COVID-19 questions at cazenovia.edu if you have any questions after reviewing all the materials associated with the videos and the emails. Take care. Have a good one.